Well, good morning. I'm going to go over a couple of algebraic proofs in chapter 2-5. So let's go ahead and get started and talk about that because I need to explain a few things before we hit the examples. Algebraic proofs are just like a warm-up to what we're going to be doing in geometric reasoning and proofs. Only just one day on this with a couple of days of homework on it, practice. And what we're going to do is take an algebraic expression or algebraic problem like this, negative 2x plus 3 halves is equal to 8, and we're going to prove that it is equal to negative 13/4. And you know how to solve the equation. You've been doing it for a couple of years now. But what the intent is to justify, to demonstrate each and every single step. And we're going to use things that you're already kind of familiar with. The addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division property is what you've been doing in algebra and pre-algebra for 2 years. It's just going to look a little different. For instance, if I add one thing to one side, I have to add it to the other, like right here. And the same for subtraction. If I multiply a number to one side, I have to multiply it to the other to maintain the equality, and so on. Then we have distributive property and things right here which we're not going to quite use today in this video lesson, but we're going to be doing quite a bit of it in the very near future. So our first example is just that. Negative 2x plus 3 halves is equal to 8. Prove that it equals to negative 13/4. I've already written all the steps are going on. Notice that I'm not doing any work here. I'm just writing each individual step. We don't skip anything. Very, very important. And my cat's trying to get in and my dog is barking. Oh well. Kitty, kitty. So here's my negative 2x plus 3 halves equal 8. That is given, and that's very much where we usually start, 99.something% of the time. We're just going to write given because sure enough, right there, it is given. Then the rest is up to us. Now remember, you may not have this over here. We just have to use our justifications. So here we are solving this thing. One of the easiest ways to solve an equation with fractions is to get rid of the denominator. So we multiply by 2 on both sides. That's exactly what happened here. We multiplied 2 here, multiplied by 2 here. Well, that's the multiplication property of equality. And I would have your notes out when you're going through this. So all I do is write multiplication. I'm going to abbreviate, and you're allowed to as well. P-O-E. Then we distributed. We distributed from there to there, distributed there. That made 3. And then we distributed there. Well, that's not actually distributing. That's multiplying. So this will be the distributive property. Now, the distributive property is not a property of equality. So, and property. So I'm just going to write prop. There we go. Now, what did we do here? Take a look at what happened. We didn't write anything down. We just went from one step to the next. Well, that 3 disappeared. That was a positive 3. We subtracted 3 on both sides. So this will be the subtraction. P-O-E. Oh boy. Dog, cat, the whole chaos is going on. Now, one last thing. That's the multiplication there. So the inverse of that we're going to do is division. We divided by negative 4 on both sides, and sure enough, we got x is equal to negative 13/4. So that would be the division, P-O-E. And yippee-yay, we are done, Q-E-D. Look that up. Moving on. Now, here's one that is going to be typical that you can see. Notice that we don't have anything written over here or over here, and this is a 2-column proof. 1 column, 2 column. Over here, we're going to write our statements. Over here, we're going to write our justification or demonstrate why those steps have happened. So the first one we're going to do is we're going to keep it organized by doing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or ABC. Usually A, B, C, D, so on is the best. 2/3 x is equal to 1. And step A, this is given. Moving on. What are we going to do next? Well, I got a denominator right here. I hate fractions in algebra, so I'm going to kill it. So step B is I'm going to multiply by 3 on all parts is equal to 1 times 3. Notice I didn't do the math. I wrote the step. So I'm going to write multiplication, property of equality. Boom. Step C. I'm going to distribute, but I don't actually work out the math. I do it in my head. 15 is equal to negative 2, 15 minus 2x is equal to 3. And that means we distributed. So distro property, not property of equality, but that's a minor little thing that you'll work out. E, step E, I am going to get rid of that positive 15 by subtracting on both sides. So I have a negative 2x is equal to negative 12. And you bet I subtracted, so therefore I did this subtraction P, O, E. And then step F, I'm going to divide out that negative 2. I get x is equal to 6. And F, A, B, C, E. That should be a D. I don't know my alphabet. Okay, there we go. And that is division property of equality. QED, which is Latin for that which has been demonstrated, or for our our Swiss student, they do this in Germany and parts of Switzerland, not all of Switzerland. And that was, if I remember right, was du wie wissen wer war, or something like that. My German is terrible. I've only spent 5 years in Germany and I never learned it. All right, so moving on. Actually, we're done. I'll get this posted and I will look at maybe posting some geometry proof stuff. See ya.